This is Vic the Signifier, and this is Light Work. So light work videos are going to be short, slightly less scripted videos to take on the topic, not quite hefty enough for a full breakdown or, provide an update or deeper dive into something I've already talked about. If this is your first time here, this channel is dedicated to the analysis of media from a black lens, mostly in the form of TV and film. I upload something 2-3 times a month. If you want to help the channel grow and help amplify a black voice in these YouTube streets, or just keep up with the work that you've already seen, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and leave a comment before you leave. That said, let's look at one of Hamilton's B-sides. I really wasn't lying, y'all, when I said I liked Hamilton. I may have, serious issues with the concept of the play, but as I said in the review, good art is good art, and Hamilton is really good shit. Thus, like any other nerd, it's not enough to just like something. I have to consume it in as many ways as possible. And for Hamilton, that came in the form of learning more about the play in its other formats, such as the second wave of actors and their roles, the UK cast, and the development and making of the play before it made it big. Most of this was me just deep diving into looking up the different hip hop influences that a lot of non-90s rap fans might have missed, like the fact that Right Hand Man takes elements from two Atlanta Snap era classics.
Any hope of success is fleeting. How can I keep leading when the people I'm leading keep retreating?
Girl, shake that laffy taffy, that laffy taffy, shake that laffy taffy.
Now I'm the model of a modern major general, the venerated Virginian veteran whose men are all on.
Lean with it, wow, yeah. Lean with it, wow, yeah. Lean with it, wow, yeah.
Or that Cabinet Battles 1 and 2, pulled from two hip-hop hits from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We fought for these ideals, we shouldn't settle for less.
Trooping out of state for a plate. Knowledge, if coke was cooked without the garbage, we'd all have the top dollars.
The issue on the table. France is on the verge of war with England. Now, do we provide aid and troops to our French allies, or do we stay out of stuff?
When the Remy's in the system, ain't no telling when I fucking will I diss them.
The Cabinet Battles themselves were a really cool and clear indication that Miranda was no pure culture vulture. He definitely loved hip-hop and was a true student of it. The battles take on the style, vibe, and energy of battle rap for the cutthroat and bravado-laced nature of political theater. This journey brought me to the unearthing of a song cut from the stage play before it hit Broadway. Cabinet Battle 3, and man, listen. So if you haven't watched my Hamilton video, which, okay, go watch it please. Anyway, my main argument there is that Hamilton is good and all, but the concept of using hip hop to essentially celebrate the lives of America's founding fathers, aka a bunch of hypocritical slave owners, is kind of gross. And that the play would not have been as successful if it were not a product of the Obama era when liberals were in a really good mood. Well, as it turns out, Miranda, who I am not overly critical of in the video, was well aware of this fact, and in some ways had already addressed it in earlier versions of the play before it hit Broadway, and he really does kind of hit the bullseye. Much like other Cabinet Battles, the beat here is clearly reminiscent of a hip-hop classic. In this case, it's fucking Tupac.
The issue on the table. A petition from a Quaker delegation in Philadelphia calling on Congress to end the African slave trade and abolish slavery in all its forms.
I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. Picture
Hamilton's part in particular clearly mimics Pac's ghostly cadence on arguably one of the darkest and most foreboding songs in hip-hop history. And the punchlines hit heavier than Young Tyson in his prime. Like,
sir, even you have hundreds of slaves whose descendants will curse our names when we're safe in our graves. How will the South find labor for its businesses? How will Thomas Jefferson find his next mistresses? How dare you? Still, people follow like lemmings. All you're hemming and hawing while you're hee-hawing with Sally Hemings. That's enough.
so what does this mean for my original argument? Does this show that the play's biggest criticism is invalid because in a non-canon version and in his heart and head, Manuel did want to address this glaring omission? Well, obviously no, come on now. If anything, it completely proves my point. This song was cut for the very reasons I was critical of Hamilton for. The first being narratively, it's so much darker and heavier than anything else in the play. A song like this would not allow you to look at these characters the same afterward. You can't go from what did I miss to send slaves back to Africa because they're less than human. The entire play would need to change its tone. This is the conflict and ambiguity missing from the depiction of these characters that I spoke of in the old video. Furthermore, as I said in the first video, the audience that Hamilton was trying to reach, or better yet, the audience that it did eventually reach to make it the phenomenon it was, would, as I said in my essay, either be turned off by this conflict because it was too challenging to their worldview, or miss the point entirely. And I mean, if you look at some of the comments posted under the video where I ripped this from, it kind of proves my point. All that said, I mean, like, I'm still not any more angry at Miranda. He's done nothing but really own the flaws of the play in hindsight. Now, of course, it's easy to do because it's made him a multimillionaire, but you know, it is what it is. Either way, this is definitely going in the Hamilton mixtape, and I can't wait to play it for my kids. If you appreciate what I'm doing, if you want to support a black voice in the deluge of white media critics, if you want more, please comment and subscribe. In fact, stick around to see what else I've cooked up. Click on one of these videos, maybe go to that first Hamilton video to see what I originally said. Production quality aside, I do think it's a great vid. Or take a look at this Antebellum review I released earlier this week to show why you should be avoiding that movie at all costs. Or hit my super slept on P-Valley video. Or just click on like anything else. If you click on something, it's good for me here. Just click something, y'all. Just don't click off YouTube. You did it? All right, well, either way, this is Speak Blerdman. I appreciate your time. Peace out.